Welcome to the free workshop tonight. Learn to meditate, rewire your mind, and manifest. My name is Amy Schneider. I am the certified Silva Method instructor for the Atlanta, Georgia, US area, as well as the Western North Carolina area. So, really, Asheville and the western parts, the mountain parts of North Carolina. And I am so excited to be here with you tonight and to offer and guide this information over the next 90 minutes. So I'm actually going to be covering the material over the next hour and 10 minutes, and then we'll have about 15, 20 minutes for question and answers. So as I am going through everything and some questions come up in your mind, you can feel free to put them in the chat. I may answer it right away, or most likely I will answer it at that answering question and answer time at the end so that we can make sure that we go through all of the material and honor your time as well. And Jen is also going to help me as well because I get very excited about all of this material. I have a few of you I know you've been in my Silva Life and Intuition class. I'm super excited to have you here, and we're in for a really wonderful evening. So I invite everybody now to just take a deep breath and just reflect why you are here this evening, and also just follow first impressions as things come up. You can write them down, put them in the chat. I would love to hear, see, answer questions. Also, to honor your time as well. During these times, especially, it can be very challenging to set aside 90 minutes for yourself. You have families, you have careers, you have friends, you activities, you may have kids, grandkids, wherever you're at. So I want to also honor you and do something that I've never done before, and that is offer a cool bonus at the end for showing up live and showing up for yourself. So at the end, I will let you know what that is. And I hope and I believe that it will be something that you can definitely use, especially with everything that we're going to cover this evening. So, one of the reasons why I asked you to have a quiet corner, a place where you can really focus and turn off distractions, turn off cell phones. I realize that wherever you're at, there may be things going on around you, and that's okay as long as you are here focused. And really, you may have seen this in my last email, but all of the research shows that multitasking, there's so much more research out there about multitasking. It doesn't work. Really, you're not doing 10 tasks at one time. You are task switching at a very high rate, which actually slows the learning process and also hinders memory and recall when you need to really think about it and remember it later. So when you're able to focus on one thing at a time, you understand more, it integrates more, you learn more, you can remember more. And so that's one of the reasons why I asked you to do that. And so I know sometimes it's habit. Do your best. Super excited you're here. I, as I mentioned before, I'm the Silva Method instructor for Atlanta and Western North Carolina. I was introduced to the Silva Method back when I was 9 years old. My mom had just gone through the course, and there was a children's course at the time that she said, Amy, you're going to this class. And I'm sure that I didn't really completely grasp what it was I was doing until afterwards, maybe. However, I have now been practicing. This is my 40th year practicing the meditation modality of the Silva Method. And it has grown and changed over the years. It has served me well and has been a tool in my toolbox that anytime I am stressed, anytime I am worried, anytime I am can't figure things out or on my knees, what do I do? God, please help me. Where you're making all of the deals, right? Can you relate? So it is a practice that I consistently go to, turn to because of the practicality of what Jose Silva created over 55 plus years ago, a structure in which we can apply relaxation, focus, awakening our intuition, really figuring it out somehow, some way. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I know I can figure it out. And when I decided 5 years ago to become an instructor, it is the best thing, not the best thing, but one of the best things that I embarked upon. And it is my passion and my purpose. And it is just a joy to be able to be here with you to really just offer up these tools. Tonight, we're going to really see a preview of what the Silva Method is all about and also do some exercises together this evening that you can take with you immediately and start putting to practice in your life. We're also going to talk about manifesting and really what that means and how do we do it and what are the things we need to do in order to do it. So sit back, relax, and I am just very excited. I say the word excited a lot in my class. Those of you who have been in my class know that I get fired up. So just a few moments ago, we started thinking about multitasking. So if you can think about right now in your life, what you have going on, all the things that you have going on, maybe things that you are concerned about, problems, challenges you're working on, goals you're working on, goals you may be worried about. It's very easy to get caught up in the worrying, the ruminating, the stressing, especially with everything that we have going on today in our life, in the world. And it's the survival security mechanism is why we're here. And however, it keeps us safe, but it does some other things too. When we're stressed, when we're in that survival security state of mind, then some things happen. Our cognitive thinking goes, our our memory goes, right? Even in momentary states of stress, our memory goes. Our body prioritizes where the blood flow goes so that if we need to get out of a situation, we can go. Now, that's important. We need that. However, when we are inundated constantly with having to multitask between lots of different things, when we are inundated with just bad news time after time again, even though we may be hopefully safe at home, our mind still perceives all of those things as a threat and keeps us in a state of stress. And our natural state is a state of homeostasis, a state of relaxation. When we are in that stressed out state, not only are we, okay, what's next? What do I have to look out for next? We are also looking for comfort. We're looking for where we can go and relax, right? If you think about that fight or flight state, that flight state, where can I go to not be in this stressed out state? We naturally want to do that. And because our natural state is homeostasis, we have these states that we go through all throughout the day. When we go to sleep at night, we're naturally relaxed. We change our state from waking to sleeping, and we're able to finally relax our body, relax our mind. I don't know about you, but how many of you have gone through your day and gone through all of the things you have to do, have going on, and then you get to bed at night, you're like, if I could just get to sleep, I know everything's going to look better in the morning. Everything. Can you relate? I know I can. Sometimes I am just, okay, if I can just get to sleep, then everything will have integrated and I will have figured everything out. And then you wake up in the morning. Oh my goodness, I feel so good. I feel so calm. And then you pick up that phone or you turn on the news or you pick up the phone, you see the text from your boss or a friend. Hey, this is happening. Can you help me with this? Or, hey, can you come in early? I know it's your day off. Or you start checking emails. Hey, I'm going to get a jump on the day. And then all of a sudden, you have gone from that natural homeostasis state to a state of stress. You start thinking, you start worrying. All of a sudden, the cortisol starts flowing and your body goes into that fight or flight mode. And one of the first skills that we're going to be talking about. So there are 4 skills that we can really use to navigate when we find that we are in these states of stress or in a spot where, hey, I'm not really quite sure where I need to go, where I need to take my next step on my goal, on the problem that I'm working on, or I really need to do this, but I don't know how to do it. So I guess I can't do it. So we're going to look at these 4 skills that we can use anytime, anywhere. And I'm just going to share my screen here. All right. I call it compass to growth, if you will. You may also hear it as a roadmap to success. These 4 core skills that are really not only at the heart of the Silva Method, but really at the heart of how we live our lives. And they are number 1, managing your energy, having the ability to relax at any point during your day, having the ability to stay calm and focused. Also, looking at your goals. Are you in alignment with your goals? Goals are fickle, they can go back and forth, they change. However, at that core part of who we are, our values, we can use that to start to focus on, hey, is what that goal that I'm working on, is that something that I'm truly in alignment with? We can use those values as a way to set boundaries over what we say yes to, what we say no to, what we focus on. Number three, belief systems. So we are a sum total of everything that we have been taught in life, anything anyone has said to us, anytime we have said things to ourselves. So whether it's positive, negative, we are a sum total of our belief systems. And sometimes those serve us, and sometimes they need to be thrown out, upgraded, you name it. We're going to look at that. And then lastly, we're going to look at using our mind and using it in more creative ways. So, mind creativity, which is really what the Silva method is all about. So, we're going to look at our energy here. So, I'm not going to leave the slides up completely. So, we're just going to briefly go over this. When you come into the Silva Life and Intuition System 4-day seminar, we go over all of this in detail. Really, what I'm covering in an hour and 10 minutes tonight, we have about 4 hours that we really dive deep into this so that you can really get clear on where you can make shifts, where you can make changes, what you need to work on. So, tonight, just notice those insights that come up as we go through things. What maybe can you change? What maybe can you shift? So, managing and guiding your energy. We're going to look at breathing, sleep, being intentional about our mornings and evenings, what the energy that we surround ourselves with. So, our technology, our friends, our family, and we're also going to look at gratitude. So I'm going to stop my share for a moment. There we go. All right. Welcome. So if you have gotten 2 hours of sleep, if you go to a job, career, or a place where you know that there are going to be people around you who either maybe their natural state is to complain, or maybe you're going to a job where the people need you, you serve them, they're going through some challenging things, right? So if you are going on 1 hour of sleep, if you have a lot of energy going out or being surrounded by negative energy, do you think that you'll have the energy then to work on those big things that you're bringing into the world? Hands up. No. So I call this putting our oxygen mask on before helping others. Because if we're getting enough sleep, if we are putting boundaries around our multitasking, what we're doing during the day, if we're able to stay focused and calm, if we are able to prepare ahead of time for situations that we know might be a little bit challenging or a little bit draining, then we are more likely then to be able to work on those things that are most important to us, or spend time and be able to give energy out into the world with those people who are the most important to us. So you can take a few moments right now and maybe think about, where in your life are you getting enough sleep? Right? What are you doing when you first wake up in the morning? Are you taking that time to visualize what's going on in your day, set your day up for success? Or are you immediately grabbing your phone or checking your computer? Now, I say all of this and welcome to the club. Sometimes it can't be helped. And you may notice the difference of those days where you're more intentional about getting up. You're more intentional about going to sleep at night, turning off all the screens, and making sure you're really comfortable, right? And then you may have those days, those nights where no matter what you do, you've got to work on this, or someone needs your help, or you're worried about X, Y, and Z. We're all human and we all have things going on that we are taking care of. So, how can we gain a skill set to help us when all of this is going on? Because if we're able to do that, then instead of reacting, instead of putting up a fight, instead of fleeing, instead of that survival security mechanism taking over, you're able to respond. You may be able to respond a little bit more loving, a little bit more calm, more giving more grace, right? I know that sometimes I've had it happen. I'm tired, had a lot going on, and then and all I want to do, I just want to sit down. I want to relax. I want to meditate. And somebody comes up and asks me a question. I'm not in the frame of mind. And before you know it, ah, you say something. And then when you're calm, you go back and, hey, you know what? I was really having a moment there. I apologize. So, moments where you can take a breath, moments where you can step back and acknowledge in order to respond. It happens. I've been practicing this for over 40 years, and the only difference is that maybe I don't stay there as long. Things come up, things happen. We want to be able to use these skills in order to live our life better, to be able to better respond to those people that we love, to be able to work on our goals better, to be able to figure out creative solutions. And when we can access relaxation, we help our bodies return to homeostasis. And when we are in homeostasis, we heal better, we learn faster, we come up with solutions that we couldn't really logically come up with. And how do we know we're in that state? If you wake up in the morning in that very quiet time before you get up, before you check the phone, before you do anything, and you're just quietly awake, you are in homeostasis. You are in that state, still that sleep state almost, but you are awake and aware. And the most wonderful thing about the meditation practice, the structure that Mr. Silva created, is that it is a step by step structure in which we can apply it to our life to access that state that we are normally at when we're asleep, but access it when we're awake and aware, to remain relaxed, to access that creativity, to learn faster. So, when we talk about intentional morning and intentional evening, then really we can use that time, that relaxed time when we first wake up. We can use that relaxed time that our body already naturally goes into when we go to sleep. So when we are aware of those times, we can do more with them. So when we first wake up in the morning, it's the best time to meditate. Some of you may already have a meditation practice. If you're a Silva practitioner, it's the best time to use your Silva practice. It's the best time to journal, to think about your goals, to mentally rehearse the day. Before you get up and out of bed, if you close your eyes and just think about what you have going on the day and how you want it to be. So you're basically living the day before you actually physically live it. So if you have a meeting, how do you want it to go? If you are spending time with family, what's the best possible scenario? And when we are visualizing in this way, we're mentally rehearsing. High performing athletes do it. There's tons of research out there about mental rehearsal. It actually lights up those parts of your brain as if you were actually physically doing them. So you're creating a roadmap for yourself for the day in those moments. So it's something you can automatically do tomorrow morning. You can also do it in the evening as well. You can think about how you want to wake up, how you want your day to be the next day. So we can utilize those times when our bodies are already naturally going into that state of homeostasis. And I mentioned the technology, right? So the technology, oh my goodness, it's not leaving us. It's going to keep coming. So we want to be very intentional and conscientious about how we have it in our life, right? So when we check those texts, when we check that email, when we respond, and putting boundaries on those. And as we're managing our energy, you may find, oh, I got more done today because I put some boundaries around when I'm going to call people, when I'm going to respond. Now, sometimes you've got to immediately respond. That's fine. But how many times do you find yourself picking up your phone? Oh, my best friend is texting me. I haven't heard from her in a while. Oh, I love her. And you're in the middle of working on your goal, but you love her. You want to talk to her or him. And so you stop what you're doing and you text, and maybe she or he sends you a link. Oh, I got to check this out. And then before you know it, you've been on your phone for the next 30, 40 minutes. So it does take some self discipline sometimes, right? It's something that we can really, it's highly addictive. So we really got to draw those boundaries around our energy. Because if we're constantly checking our phone, if we're constantly checking our email, if we're constantly responding, then we're not getting enough sleep. Then we're not able to respond the way that we want to the people that we love. And then we're also not bringing into manifestation those goals and those things that are the most important to us. Okay, Amy, that's great. What's the fix? One thing that we have automatically within us to help us relax immediately and to activate your parasympathetic nervous system is breathing deeply, those deep belly breaths, filling your belly like a balloon. And then when you're still breathing in and you can't feel it anymore, and you bring it up into your rib cage and through your nose and then blow it out through your mouth. Even just taking one deep belly breath or three deep belly breaths instantaneously helps to lessen or make it go away completely that state of stress, depending on where you're at. So we have these mechanisms already built in. We just need to know about them, when we can access them, what we do with it. So Mr. Silva did not create anything new. He just created a structure in which we could apply it to our lives. When you find yourself in a state of stress, one of the things that you can do is one, take 3 deep breaths. Two, you maybe saw on that screen, gratitude. It's a state shifter. If you're stressed, if you're worried, if you're mad, if you're angry, you can think of one thing that you are grateful for, that you have gratitude. You're so appreciative that this opportunity is in your life, that this person is in your life. Then your brain says, hey, wait a minute. I know them. I know that. Oh, yeah, that's good. It likes to feel good. Your brain, your body, it likes to feel good. So then it rearranges. Your brain does not distinguish between vivid imagination or physical reality. So when you start thinking of someone who brings so much joy in your life, then your state automatically shifts. And then, do you have a place that you like to go to relax? For me, I love the beach. I absolutely love the beach. I also love a good bubble bath. So maybe it's a walk in the woods, maybe it's the beach, maybe it's the bubble bath, maybe it's a hike, maybe it is a meditation room in your house. Maybe it's just on your porch or out in the yard or wherever it may be, somewhere that you've been before that you can recall easily. In fact, sometimes when we're right in the middle of something and we're feeling stressed, we may automatically start daydreaming about it. If you've ever found yourself daydreaming about someplace that a vacation you're about to take or someone that you love that you're about to see, you are shifting your state right there and you're actually in that state of homeostasis. So some things we can already naturally do in that moment where we notice that we're stressed. So I'd like to invite you to do this first exercise. We're going to do a short little exercise. In class, we go over fully the structure, the step by step structure. And tonight, they'll just be little short exercises just to really help you see a little bit of the structure. So, in a moment, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. You can imagine that you're breathing in love, understanding, compassion, whatever it is, joy, and then breathing out anything that isn't serving you, breathing out stress. So 3 deep breaths, and then you'll hear me ask you to think about someone in your life. Maybe if it's not a person, maybe an opportunity in your life that you are so grateful for. You're so happy that the person is in your life, that you have this opportunity. Imagine them as if they're there with you, with your eyes closed, and you're just telling them, thank you. Thank you for being in my life. I love you, whatever it is. And then I'll ask you to visualize, imagine yourself at your, we call it an ideal place of relaxation in class, but your favorite place that you love to go to relax, somewhere you've been before. You can recall it easily. You know what it looks like. You know what you generally find there. You know what it sounds like. And then I'm going to ask you to think about your intentions and why you're here this evening. And just know that you're going to have superior concentration, understanding, and that you will receive whatever it is that you came here to receive. How about it? Do you want to try it? Yeah. Woohoo. Okay. So right now, I invite you to get into a comfortable position wherever you're at and close your eyes and take 3 deep belly breaths, breathing in through your nose, maybe holding it for a couple of seconds, breathing out anything that isn't serving you. Take another deep breath, breathing in love and peace. And one last deep breath in. Release anything that isn't serving you. And now bring to mind someone you know in your life or an opportunity in your life that you have so much gratitude for. You're so thankful for them. And just tell them, thank you. I love you. Whatever it is, maybe even hear them saying, I love you back. And now, when you're ready, visualize a place that you've been before, someone, somewhere that you like to go to relax, your favorite place to relax. No matter when you go there, you instantly release the stress and imagine that you are there right now. What do you, using all of your senses, enjoy that place? And while you're there, reflect on your intentions for being here this evening, what you want to learn, what you want to hear, what you're hoping to receive, and know that you'll have superior concentration and understanding. And when you're ready, you can take a deep breath and open your eyes. You'll be wide awake, feeling fine, in perfect health, feeling refreshed. Welcome back. How was it for you? Do you feel just a little bit calmer than you were before? Even just a little? Wonderful. Ah, yes, I got a thumbs up. Wonderful. So we have those points of reference within us, those times when we have been at our most relaxed, that when we just think about them, our brain doesn't distinguish between vivid imagination or physical reality. And it says, oh, I remember that place. It shifts our state. It interrupts the pattern of stress. It interrupts maybe a worrying thinking pattern. Maybe you've been working really hard on something and you need to take a break. It shifts us just a little bit. In class, we do something called the long relax. And it is the core meditation, step by step. It's a fractional relaxation, mind relaxation, just like we did just now with our ideal place of relaxation. And then we go into really helping to create a mind environment for ourselves. Just like when you go to sleep at night, you want comfortable bedding, you want a dark room. Maybe you want a meditation playing, whatever it is that you know will help you get to sleep. You set that environment. So we do that with the long relax that Mr. Silva did research over 22 years of initial research to structure this. And that long relax, there have been many reports from grads that I've had in my class, instructors have had in their class, where just by doing that long relax, it's long. It's about 25, 30 minutes. And they get results. They maybe heal from something a little bit faster. They feel a little bit better. You're able to reset. It is something that it's actually a download that I give you in class. You get an MP3 download in class. So you have it. So what we just did there is a start of that. And it is something that you can use anytime. You can use what we just did as a way to access relaxation anytime you need it to manage your energy. The next thing that I want to talk about, I'm going to share my screen here, is aligning with and focusing on your goals and your values. So, if you're managing your energy, you're feeling more relaxed, you're feeling more calm and focused, you're going to focus more on your goals. You're going to get more things accomplished. And I mentioned before, goals can come and go. We think maybe this might be our goal, but then we change it. But one of the things that doesn't really change is who we are innately, our values, what's important to us. And sometimes we can get caught up with focusing on things that don't serve our values. And we start making excuses. We start procrastinating. And then we're wondering why, how am I not further along? So our values, who we are at our core, we can use as a boundary for what it is we're working on. It allows us to truly decide, is this important? Is this going to make my life different and better? Is this actually, or is it someone else's goal? Because sometimes our goals are put on us by other people and we don't realize it until we're way down the road and then we ask ourselves, why am I doing this? This isn't what I want to do. So getting clear on those goals, having clarity. If you put into a GPS point wherever you're at in the world right now and just punch in GPS point, another country, another city, anywhere where you're at, where you're not at, it'll give you a point and you'll get there, but you might be anywhere in that country, anywhere in that city. The more clear you get on where you want to go, the more likely it is that you're going to get there. And by really taking those goals and putting them right up against your values, you're then going to be able to say yes to things that are going to get you to your goal faster, or you're going to be able to say no to things that may derail you a bit or get you off track. So, what is at your core? So, really being able to dial in your values, your goals, asking those questions. Why is this important to me? How is this going to make my life different and better? How is it going to benefit my family? How is it going to benefit my values that I have? When you're curious and you're asking questions, you get more clarity. We have several exercises, meditations that we work with each other together on to help us visualize those goals, to help us get clarity. So think about what it is you're working on right now. Why is it important to you? You can ask those questions to yourself right now. Why is it important to you? How is it going to make your life different and better? How is it going to enrich your living experience? How is it going to enrich others' living experiences if that's important to you? It's one of the reasons why I do this work. I love this so much. And to be able to gain a new skill to help us in life, to help us be better versions of ourselves, to help others reach their goals. It is, and to be in a room with like minded individuals who want the same. It absolutely lights me up. So, what lights you up? Is a goal that you're working on right now, does it bring you joy? Or every time you think about it, does it just, you just dread it? And that's some information for you. Maybe you might need to shift some things. Now, when you're working on something, there's always things that you have to do that maybe you don't really right. But by answering those questions, it helps motivate us. It helps keep us going during those times where we feel like, oh, I don't know about this, but I know, nope, I want it. This is why I want it. So we just did a relaxation exercise in, okay, when I want to relax, what can I do? Now we're going to take it one step further. When we are in those relaxed states, we can think about our goals. We can get more information than we can when we're logically thinking about them, because sometimes we get caught up in that critical gatekeeper, right? We need logic, we need critical thinking. However, then we get caught up in, okay, this is the only answer, this is the only solution, but the solutions are infinite. We're just not always aware of all of the information. And when we're in relaxed states, we get more information somehow, some way. So we're going to do another exercise here in just a moment, and it'll be similar to the other one where I will invite you to get into a comfortable position, close your eyes, take those 3 deep belly breaths, give some gratitude, visualize that ideal place of relaxation. And then think about a goal that you're working on right now. And how is it going to benefit you? How is it going to make your life different and better? How will you know when you have it? How will you know when you have it? What will change for you? What will the circumstances be once you've reached that goal? When we allow ourselves to expand our awareness and be curious about our goals, then we allow ourselves more possibility of thinking. We allow ourselves to shift our point of view, right? And when we look at things from different ways, then we are telling our brain, hey, I'm open to whatever you have. Bring it on, bring it on. When we're curious, we're also having fun. We're more joyful in our actions and our discovery. And when you are relaxed, when you are in joy and having fun is the number one way, actually 3 ways, not just number one, 3 ways that you can do to activate your intuition, activate those aha moments that somehow, some way you'll figure it out. So I'll invite you to think about how is your life going to change? How will you know when you have it? And then I'll invite you to open your eyes, take a deep breath, open your eyes wide awake and feeling refreshed. So, want to do it? Work on some goals? Woohoo! Okay, so get into a comfortable position. I'm going to go ahead and stop my share. Get into a comfortable position. And close your eyes. Take a deep cleansing breath. Release any stress. Take another deep breath. One more deep breath. Take your time. Go ahead and give some gratitude to the same person, a different person, same opportunity, different opportunity in your life. And then you may want to visualize that ideal place of relaxation. As if you're there, fully associated with all of your senses. And while you're there, think about a goal that you are working on right now, a goal that is important to you, a goal that's going to make your life different and better. And ask these questions, get more clarity on how are you going to know when you have achieved it? Where will you be? How will you be feeling? How do you want to feel? What circumstances are going to change for you? How is it going to make your life different and better? How is it going to enrich the lives of the people you love around you, your family, your friends, your community? What is it that you truly want? When you're ready, take another deep breath, eyes open, fully relaxed, better than before. Welcome back. So, do you feel even a little bit more calm than before? Maybe a little bit more relaxed. It was a little bit easier than it was the first time. You can take a few moments as we start really talking about our next 4 point on our compass, belief systems. If anything came up for you about your goal, maybe something you weren't aware of, maybe you had an aha moment. Whatever it is that came up, feel free to write it down. When we write down our goals, when we're writing down things that are important to us, we actually remember them more. They've done studies around this. It's called the generational effect because you're actually generating the idea from your mind onto paper and physical reality. So definitely take some time to do that. Or after our workshop, please feel free to just take a moment before you go back into your life, your world, and jot some things down. So, the next point I want to share with you is belief systems. So, I mentioned before that we are a sum total of everything that we say to ourselves, that we hear about ourselves, that we've learned, that we've been told, even if they are not true. And we are a sum total of all of the skill set that we have, right? Everything that we've learned up until now. So we need sometimes a healthy imagination to get from where we are now to where we want to be. And we need imagination. We may need some extra skill set. And we have already within us frames of reference, moments of excellence of all of those times in our life when maybe we couldn't figure something out and we did, and we did it. And in fact, I recently we did a workshop with Janine Shaka from Silva Method, Australia. It was called, some of you may have been there, Heal Your Life and Manifest More. And we talked about this, that when we are working on a goal, when we're trying to bring something into existence, into manifestation, then and we've never done it before, then we need some skills. We need to figure it out. And the one thing that we have within us, we have everything we need within us. Sometimes we just get in the way. We have all of these frames of reference of success. And we did a cool timeline exercise from when you were born to when you were whatever age you're at now. And you write down all of those moments of excellence, all of those moments of you learned a new skill, you figured something out, you worked on a goal, you achieved it, whatever it was. When we focus on those successes, when we focus on that progress, then we raise our vibration to what it is that we're working on, to what it is that we want. Our vibration, our energy changes. We have an energy field that extends out about 25 plus feet. We change that, right? And we change it in the direction of our goal. And we can access these anytime by just thinking about them, by just thinking about them. So when you're working on a goal, and maybe you find, oh man, how am I going to figure this out? Or I have another skill, right? Meditation is a skill set. The Silva method is a skill set. It's like riding a bike. When you first start learning how to do it, whatever modality you've done in the past, you may have, hey, when I first started it, it was kind of odd, right? When you first start something, you first learn something, oh, I'm not sure. I don't know, but I just know it's going to help. So I'm going to keep going. And the more you do it, the more you get more confident. And the more confident you get, the more you do it. The more you do it, the more competent you get. It's called the competence loop until it becomes automatic, like driving a car, riding a bike, going from from your home to a place you go to every day, where you used to need Google Maps or a map or help from someone. And then now you just go there. And sometimes you think, oh man, how did I get here? It becomes automatic. It becomes integrated in you. So right now, can everyone think of a time, just really briefly, just take a deep breath, close your eyes, and think about a time where you learned a new skill, you figured something out, you reached a goal you were working on. Any time in your life, what did that feel like? Maybe you can really vividly recall it. You know who was around you, what was around you, how you were carrying yourself. And really feel into what that was like for you and know that you've got this within you. You can do this. And when you're ready, if you've got your eyes closed, open your eyes. So we have these frames of reference within us that we can call on anytime. We do this throughout the 4 days. We really work on being able to access relaxation, really look at the goal it is that we're working on, what it is that we want, how we can recall those moments of excellence to help us on our way. We have this. You are more than you may believe you are. You're better. You've got everything you need. in order to succeed. And that brings me to that last skill set, number 4, mind creativity, using more of your mind and using it in creative ways. And that's what we do over the course of the 4 days. That is what the Silva method is all about, Silva life and intuition. And we've just been doing it this evening. It's more structured in class. We learn a step-by-step framework. We go with what Mr. Silva really worked on. Everything was intentional, proprietary process where we discuss everything and then we preview everything. We ask questions and then we do it together. So you get immediate feedback with yourself, how you feel. We have deliberate practice. And deliberate practice has been researched that when we do deliberate practice after we learn something, it integrates more with us. And we do that all throughout the 4 days. And we have this step-by-step structure that we can apply it. So instead of just think positively, it'll be better. Okay, I'm really struggling. How do I do that? So we go through this process together. So it is a way that you can learn to relax. It's a structured way that you can learn to meditate instead of just clearing your mind of everything. That's hard to do. We're constantly receiving information and we use it to then focus. We learn to relax and then focus on what it is that we're working on. And over the course of the first 2 days and the second 2 days, we start diving into intuition. Those times in our life where we've gotten those aha moments, those meaningful coincidences. We all have this. Mr. Silva believed this, that we all have this and we can train it, we can awaken it. So if you knew that you could somehow, some way get information and really learn how your intuition speaks to you, how it looks, how it feels, what's that feeling that makes the difference? Oh man, if I could just have that feeling that one time that came 3 years ago and I followed it and it worked out, how could I have more of those? So we do deliberate practice. We do intuition exercises together where we figure it out. So if we are thinking about how our goal can benefit us, so that brings me to our very last slide here. There he is, the man himself. The greatest discovery you'll ever make is the potential of your mind. Our 5 steps to creating solutions, 5 steps that you can use in order to manifest, bring into reality what it is you're working on. Acknowledging where you're at. We did that at the beginning of our workshop. Hey, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm working on. What is it that you're working on? Where do you want to be? How is it going to make your life different and better? Really feel into that. Raise that vibration. And when you find that you are hitting road bumps in a state of, wait a minute, I just took 2 steps backwards. What do I do? Then you can start thinking about, again, all those ways that what it is you're working on is going to make your life different and better. So you can start really matching your energy to what it is that you want and taking action on it. So following those intuitive insights. If you're surfing the internet and all of a sudden you see something, or you're driving down the road and you see something, or someone calls you, what could the information that they have make possible for you and what it is you're working on, and take action on it? And then give gratitude for it as if it's already happened, right? So give gratitude, all of those things that we were doing in all of those little mini exercises. In class, we work on them more together. There's 40 hours of training, and we can use them very practically in our lives. And as you learn to figure out what's the difference that makes the difference with my intuition, maybe it's fear, maybe it's wishful thinking. We've got some points of reference when we leave class so that we can start making decisions a little bit easier. And when we can make decisions a little bit easier, we're a little bit more relaxed. We're working on something we love. We're more in joy. We start paying attention to all of those intuitive insights and we start manifesting what it is that we want. So I want to honor your time. That was a lot. I normally cover in about 4 hours what we just did in an hour in. I went a little bit over time. Jen was keeping me on track. Thank you so much. In class, where we then start really diving into very specific exercises that can help us get better sleep without sleep aids, that can help us wake up with our alarm clock without our mental alarm clock, without an actual alarm clock, helping us solving problems. And I also promised you, if you stay till the end, thank you so much, a little bonus. And that is it's actually a mini relaxation. It's called the mini relax, and it's a shortened version of the long relax that we learn in in the 4 days together. And so I will be gifting that all to you, sending you an email. And I want to thank you. Thank you so much for staying all the way through. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you for showing up for this material. And I hope so much that you have gained some insights, at least maybe one thing, right? Open yourself up to new things, open yourself up to possibilities. And I have so much gratitude for you for being here. And I am ready to dive into some questions here. I know that there's some questions in the chat here. Let's see here. Just want to here. Let's see here. Okay. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat so I can answer. Any questions about the material? Any questions about the class? Everything I mentioned, everything that we just did in this very short amount of time, we do in the 4 day class. Also, we talked a little bit about manifesting as well. And normally there's not an actual specific instructor that teaches. It's a 2 day seminar called Silva Manifesting. And it's a really great place to start if you're new to the Silva method. And it's a really wonderful place to continue if you've already gone through the Silva method because you've got the material and so you can go even deeper. Let's see here. Saw something. Okay, nope, still question. With the 4 day class, oh, here we go. Thank you. Okay, how do we try not to be distracted from our goal and keep our mind present while meditating? So that's a really great question, Miriam. Thank you very much for asking that. So we want to really put our thoughts to work for us. So we just did a very simplified meditation, several couple of meditations there, right? And especially when you're learning to meditate, you start to really figure out what that feels like, looks like for you. And we go into definitely more of a structure in class so that when you are relaxed,
All right, Amy. I don't know what happened. Yeah,
okay,
there you are.
okay. Can you hear me now? Yes. Yes. I see the check marks. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, wonderful. back to Miriam's question. When you are relaxed and then focused on your goal, you can, if your goal is distracting you, first, maybe before you meditate, you can set the intention of what goal it is that you're working on, right? And ask those questions before you meditate so you can get a good idea. And if it's something that really does not light you up, really is not something that you want to do, that's information for you. But when you are in a relaxed state, we really start to cultivate your visualization and imagination and using those mental senses in class and we give you more of a structure. So more of a structure than what we just did, because that way you're able to control it more and you're able to learn how to control it. At first, it may be difficult to, oh, wait a minute, I've got all these things going through my mind. And as you keep practicing, you start getting feedback of, oh, wait a minute, I'm relaxing a little bit more. I can focus a little bit more. Because when we are working, even when we're meditating and focusing on figuring out the solution or figuring out how we can get to that goal, then instead of worrying about it, instead of stressing about it, we're relaxed and actually doing something about it. So it is a little bit of a skill, but we can put those thoughts that come up to work for us. And a lot of times, sometimes those thoughts, if they're super fast, they're first impressions. That's information for you. Your mind gives you information that you need, definitely. So we work on that over the 4 days, and you even practice and come back and we celebrate progress together. Okay, let's see. Next here. Okay. Do you have any advice on how to deal with negative, fleeting thoughts that may interfere with relaxation? Yes. Actually, in the first day, we actually really work on thought patterns and reframing thought patterns and creating pattern interrupters to then, hey, this is the thought that I find myself constantly thinking. And okay, let's create a new thought instead of this, if that's what we don't want, because a lot of times we focus on what we don't want. And that's important. That's a survival mechanism. We are absolutely wired to do that. So we need to rewire ourselves to say, hey, thank you, brain, for keeping us safe, but this is what I want. And reframing that thought to help us in what it is that we want. So when you're in meditation, if you find all of a sudden you start thinking negative thoughts or worrying, so you're coming out into critical thinking mode. So take a few deep breaths first. Okay, I see you. Acknowledge it, right? The 5 steps creating solution. Acknowledge the thought. Hey, I see you. You're there to keep me safe. However, I'm meditating right now. You can visualize pushing it out of your mind, or you can come up with another phrase. What's the opposite of that? What thought will serve you in reaching your goal? How can you reframe it? And we do that. It's a skill. It's a skill for sure. We call it mental house cleaning, and there's actually a structure for it. There's a lot of times, if we have a specific thought that we're constantly thinking, we've trained our mind to think that way, right? And so what we need to do is interrupt that pattern and create a new route. And in order to do that, every time the thought comes up, I see you. Cancel, cancel. That's what we say, cancel. But we go into why that is and how we do it. We're going to cancel that thought and we're going to create a new thought that serves us more. And the more we do that, oh, here comes a thought, cancel, this is what we want. Oh, here comes the thought, cancel, here's what we want. Finally, your brain will say, now your brain is having it's causing your brain more work to think the negative thought than it is the positive thought. And that's when that shift happens. So your brain likes to use the least amount of resources possible. That's why when we're stressed and we're struggling, we fall back on old patterns. And so we have to work at it to retrain, rewire our mind that way. I hope that helped. Okay, so having a hard time setting goals, just keep learning. Okay, so when you are setting your goals, you can reframe it. Instead of goals, how about saying intentions? Because goals sometimes they're concrete. They're, oh, I have to get them. Because sometimes we change, our goals change, and maybe something we've been working on no longer serves us, and we have to stop all of that work that we've been doing and just give it up. And that's very difficult to do. So think about, what is your intention? So, whatever it is you're working on, how do you want to feel? Start there. Hey, when I do, this is how I want to feel. If you were on purpose or are on purpose in your life, how is it? What are you doing? How are you feeling? When you're in the most joy, what are you doing? How are you feeling? So you can start asking some questions. Be curious about yourself and maybe set aside those goals that you're trying to work on. That's actually mental house cleaning that we work on in class. Try, because there is no try, there's only do. You're either doing it or not. So, why are you doing what you're doing? How is it making your life different and better? When you're feeling joyful, what is it that you're doing? What are you thinking about? What are you watching? What are you talking about? So, just being curious and asking questions. And I think that's it. Also, I want to say one more thing to Giselle, to your just keep learning. Learning, continuous learning. I'm a continuous learner. I love learning new things. However, sometimes we can find ourselves in a state where we've learned so many things that we just know it, but knowing it isn't enough. Being able to put it into action. If you want to bring something into this life, oh my gosh, if we could just do X, Y, and Z, everything would be better. It doesn't exist right now. And so you start learning the skills. Okay, I'm going to learn the skills first before I do it. And then, well, it's not anything you've done before. So your brain's going to say, why do you want to do that? Don't you want to just stay over here? It's nice and safe and calm over here, right? So we have to work with ourselves. So we have to then put those skills into practice. Why did you learn those skills? Just to know them or to use them? How would you use them? Right? So even just taking one step of putting one thing into action can help really answer a lot of questions, a lot of goal setting questions, next step questions, just by taking action. Because if you came to this, hey, I didn't want to come to this seminar, but I did, I showed up. And oh my goodness, I'm so glad I did, because now I got this aha. Oh, I'm going to go check this out. That maybe you wouldn't have gotten that thought or done that thing if you didn't do or take action on that first step, right? Everyone, thank you so much for being here. And I really appreciate you. And I hope that it has been informative. I hope that thank you, Margaret. I love you too. And thank you, Trish. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Akima. Thank you, Kamini, RQ, Sierra, Joanne, Savannah, Windsor, Hannah, Erica, Miriam, Giselle. I think I got everybody. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to find out more about the Silva Life and Intuition 4-day immersion class, you can go to my website. That's www.silvamethodatlanta.com. So silvamethodatlanta.com. And you can also learn too more about, I mentioned it before, Silva Manifesting. Janine Shaka, who I talked about, she's actually coming to the States in August, September, so August 30th through September 2nd. She's actually doing two programs, the 2-day Silva Manifesting, and Louise, also a Silva grad, a program on those second 2 days. So you can learn more there. And also we'll be following up with your mini relax. It's a download guided relax. And thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.